A sellout. The betrayal of one's principles for reasons of expedience. Sellout. Do you know a sellout? You will in a minute. I'm Son of Thunder, and I approve this message.
Can I ask a question of it? So are you saying that monies that come into this organization from contributions from our brothers and sisters are being used by the, I guess you could say, the governing body, and they're taking that money and investing it in Lockheed Martin and Boeing?
Yeah,
and you have tax receipts that prove that Jehovah's Witnesses, as an organization, as a group, are purchasing stocks in these companies.
Yeah, and
with contributions.
Oh, that's precisely what I'm saying. You want proof? Stay tuned.
But the organization is just up to no good. I mean, they're investing in Lockheed Martin and Boeing, and you can look online and see that, I mean, those are war machines. Those are war companies. So, I mean, if they invest in that stuff and they don't even tell you.
Where do you find these facts out there?
Well, you can find them online, and you can see the IRS tax receipts and everything. I mean, I can produce them if you'd like to see.
So you go online and you find these interesting bits of information that shows that Jehovah's organization is corrupt, huh? It's corrupted.
Yeah. So what I'd like, I mean, in a perfect world, what I'm hoping you guys see when you look at me is not like some wicked, troublemaking apostate, because I don't have time for all that. But I was hoping that maybe you'd see it as me letting you know about something that you don't know for your own protection.
Well,
that maybe down the line it might come up if something.
I don't think you've told us anything that we aren't aware of.
How long have you, I mean, have you guys
I didn't know about the Boeing thing.
Yeah, and Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin.
Can I ask a question of it? So are you saying that monies that come into this organization from contributions from our brothers and sisters are being used by the, I guess you could say, the governing body, and they're taking that money and investing it in Lockheed Martin and Boeing?
Yeah,
and you have tax receipts that prove that Jehovah's Witnesses, as an organization, as a group, are purchasing stocks in these companies.
Yeah, and
with contributions.
Yeah, and I also saw tobacco companies. The most shocking is the war companies. That's, you know, and then Cinemax of all things. You know, I mean, what can I do other than tell you? I mean.
So if that, let's just say that was true.
Yeah.
So therefore, then we don't follow the counsel that Jesus has given us to stay in Jehovah's organization and be directed by that.
Well, Jesus.
So that gives us a reason not to, is what you're saying?
If we follow Jesus exactly like he wants us to, we would not be in this organization after finding out what happens.
Where would we be?
Where would we be? Interesting question, but that's for a whole other video. As you can see, some pretty serious allegations were made in this little conversation in my judicial hearing. And not just in this video, but in the description of this video, you're going to see the links to the proof, to the tax receipts, to everything you need to show your family, your friends, and to prove conclusively that, first of all, what's Watchtower doing investing anyway? And much less investing in war machine, soft pornography, tobacco, all those things you're about to see. So follow along. Now there's a name I'd like you to memorize, and her affiliation with the Watchtower and Bible and Tract Society, because there is some funny business going on here. This Henrietta M. Riley, a woman where we're not quite sure if she was a Jehovah's Witness, but she died in 1945. There's her tombstone, 1945, and there's been some unusual relation with Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, some capital that was donated, and again in the late 90s, like 1997. It's something to do with tax evasion, but we're not on that topic. We're just looking at the investments that Watchtower is involved in. But you will see this name, and as it says, Henrietta M. Riley Trust, FBO, Watchtower Bible. So that's for benefit of. FBO is for benefit of. So it shows that this is something that Watchtower Bible and Tract Society uses, maybe as a shell game to evade taxes. Maybe they work with one another. Who knows? But that's just something that you should be aware of before we proceed. Now, let's take a look at these tax receipts, shall we? So here we are, the tax paperwork for 2014. And let me zoom in on the top left. You see that Henrietta M. Riley. And just so there's no mistake about it, this is page 1. Let's look at page 11. You see that this is all about the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Now, where do we begin? This is just one of many lists of their investments. Of course, I circled Boeing, Honeywell, Lockheed Martin. Those are the war machine making companies. But I also circled Monsanto, Apple, Lionsgate. Now, maybe let's start from the bottom up. Let's take a look at why I would circle Lionsgate Entertainment. Lionsgate is responsible for gems like the ones you see here, like Dogma, which is completely blasphemous, and of course Saw, all those Saw movies, Saw 1, 2, 3. I don't know how they keep rolling out with these. I guess the directors and producers are rolling out of their coffins to create another one, but we can see this is supposed to be a religious organization that claims to be Christian. Of course, we know it's Antichrist, and by their fruit, they're investing and supporting and part owners of movies like this. Now let's move on to the next one. So next up, we're just going to look at Monsanto really quickly. Monsanto does genetically modified engineering of food, and look at what, I mean, they have to wear spacesuits to spray the food that we eat. So imagine what we're actually eating if the people who spray what we're eating have to wear suits like this. I mean, that's, if you want to expose Monsanto, that would be a whole other video that would take quite some time to thoroughly explain. But let's move along. Now, the fourth one down, Apple. Who cares if they invested in Apple? I'm sure a lot of you are probably watching this on an Apple phone. And there's nothing really wrong with owning that stuff because it's everywhere and we really have no choice at this point. But a religious Christian organization should perhaps be concerned about what I'm about to show you here. Take a look. So you'd think if this is God's only channel, they'd be on to Apple. I mean, here's the logo that we know so well, with the bite taken out. But who cares? I mean, what's the big deal about this? Well, the bite taken out of the apple, this is all a play on the biblical Adam and Eve story, the forbidden knowledge. That's why it's called megabytes, gigabytes. So this whole thing is a mockery on the Bible. This whole company is. Still don't believe me? Ask your phone. How much did Apple sell its first computer for? They played even with the numbers. They sold it for $666.66. Now, what does that mean from here? I'm not quite sure, but they invested in this company. They're part owners in this company, technically. And quite frankly, they should have no business in this company if they really were who they claim to be. And now the second one from the top, Honeywell. If you just take a look here, I just looked it up on Wikipedia. Right at there in blue underlined that they produced conventional weapons such as cluster bombs, guidance systems for both nuclear weapons and military aircraft. So again, a very conflicting investment on the part of Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. I think we pretty much get the point here, but just a couple more that I wanted to mention. Time Warner, that's the company that owns the Cinemax, and I can't even look up any images to show you on what Cinemax is up to. That's softcore pornography, so we'll just leave it at that. Another one I circled, I just picked out a couple peculiar ones. Monster Energy Drink. Why would I care about Monster Energy Drink? Well, let's just take a quick look at that. So here's the label I'm sure we're all familiar with. It's in every grocery store, it seems. And who cares, really? Well, I'll tell you why we should care. Look at those 3 markings there. If you go to the Hebrew numerals, it's all circled there. You can see that it's just a play on Scripture. It's making fun of Scripture. So, even Unleash the Beast, the mark of the beast, Hebrew numerals, that's the Hebrew numeral for the number 6, and there's conveniently 3 of them there, according to the Scripture, that the mark of the beast and the number of the beast is 666. So all I'm saying in regards to this is that if this was really God's channel, you think that they would perhaps not sell out, and maybe if they had some sort of special connection to heaven, they would know not to be affiliated with a company that makes a mockery out of Scripture, which Jehovah's Witnesses claim to hold dear, but their leaders clearly have no difficulty doctoring the Scriptures to their own made-up religion. So that's that. I think we can all agree that I could have stopped a long time ago. These investments, just one of them, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, have no business in an organization that claims to be Christian. Well, there you have it. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope everyone out there may have learned a thing or two. I know this information has been covered by Jason Zelda. Did a fantastic job. He's actually the first video that I saw that exposed me to this information. So I wanted to kind of make it an easy snapshot type of thing where you can just take my video and take a snapshot with your phone and just have proof right then and there to show and share with others. Also in the description, you'll have the links to, I'll put the most important links at the top, especially the link to the 2014 tax report, and also the links to the websites that provide all the information that I received. So thanks to Jason Zelda, thanks to Watchtower.expose from Mike and Kim. They carry some of that information on their website as well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email address is right here. I am Son of Thunder. And thanks again to all. And I'm Son of Thunder, and I'm keeping watch for you. Until next time.
Lie.